What's up, guys? It's Will Burrows, and today the day is a rest day, and the topic that I want to cover is why eat less and move more is not the best advice. While it typically is true, there are some things that we want to keep in mind when we are considering this advice. And that is, first of all, caloric density, right? So what happens is there are certain foods that are extremely calorie dense, but they are also super palpable and very easy to eat. They're super tasty. And this is typically what gets the label junk food, right? So as an example, a two Oreos is like 140 calories, right? So if you eat 20 Oreos, that would be 1,400 calories. Now, I'm sure you can imagine this. If you ate 20 Oreos, you wouldn't feel that full. You wouldn't. But for most people, that would be close to their daily caloric intake, or, if you're a bigger person like myself, that's still, a solid more than 50% of what I would eat in a day. And 20 Oreos, right? So this applies to a whole bunch of different foods, like chips, ice cream. I'm sure you get the point. When I say junk food, you typically have a good idea of what that is. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't eat them. It just means that we have to be more conscious of when we eat them and what our goals are surrounding that. For example, yes, you could squeeze your two Oreos in, even if you're on a weight loss phase, because 140 calories, that may take up 10-ish% of your daily calories. You may not feel as full from them, but if that helps curb your cravings and keeps you on track for a longer period of time, that is beneficial, and that is something to be okay with. But if, let's say you're doing like an 1,800 calorie diet, you're eating 1,800 calories, you're in a 500 calorie deficit, so your maintenance is 2,300, and you eat 20 Oreos, and then you have the 1,400 calories, well, let's do it. You've got another 400 calories to fill it. You haven't gotten close to your protein goal, so it's gonna not be good for preserving muscle mass while you're on this weight loss phase. You're not gonna feel full at all, and you only have 400 calories left to eat. So that is why caloric density plays a pretty big role, because it's not that you struggle with overeating or that you have an endless appetite. It's just that you eat foods that are not filling, and it is very easy to overeat. And this is something that you can see with people who have poor appetites. Is typically the advice they will get is, one is always just make your calories liquid. Drinking your calories will always be easier than eating them. The next advice is throw some junk in your diet. Like, if you are legitimately struggling to eat enough food, then throwing junk in could be a great tool to help. And that is all junk food is. It is a tool. And you can use it to help you with certain things, right? And junk food is typically good for increasing calories and combating cravings, if you're smart with it. Cravings. So, again, we shouldn't moralize food. Like, food is not good or bad. It just is. And there are foods that are more nutritious and there are foods that are less nutritious, but again, there isn't this dichotomy that there has to be good or bad food and that it's moralized. Food is just food, and it could have a nutrition profile that is beneficial to getting you towards your goals, and it could have a nutrition profile that really doesn't do much for you. But again, it could fall in this junk food category, and it could be a tool to help you increase your calories if you're struggling to get enough, or it could help you combat some of the cravings and manage cravings that you are dealing with. And in some cases, junk food does have nutrition profiles that align with your goals. So, it's more so about getting the foundation of knowledge to be able to implement these things however you want. For example, myself, I plan junk food into my diet, right? So I don't ever let myself get to a point where I am so full of cravings that I'm just gonna go on a bender, right? I plan things that I want to eat. I leave a set amount of calories for junk food, and then each day, if I'm craving something different, then I can have something to help manage that craving. And if the craving's a little bit more strong, then I'll eat that same thing multiple days in a row to help get over that. But yes, the better fundamentals you have of this, the easier it is for you to not get stuck into restrictive dieting, because the truth is you don't have to restrict foods. If you just understand calories and macronutrients, you're 80% of the way there. And you can argue that, eat the diverse foods for micronutrients. We've got multivitamins to help with that. And if you really want to be anal about it, then just have an ounce of beef liver every day. Nature's multivitamin. Good to go. Anyway, so junk food, tool, caloric density, it's going to play a big role. Now, if I told you that you had to eat 1,400 calories in rice, that would be, I think white rice is, I think it's 140 calories per serving, maybe 160. We'll just do 140 to make the math simple. If you had to eat 10 cups of rice, 10 cups before it's cooked, after it's cooked, that is going to be massive. You are going to have so much food. If you were tasked with eating that 10 cups of rice, chances are you probably wouldn't even be able to finish it. You would be so full, and you would maybe hate rice. But the point is that it's not that you struggle with overeating. It's just that you're choosing the wrong foods, right? So the reason I say eat less is bad advice, because if you're eating 20 Oreos and you're told to eat less, you're like, I barely eat and I'm starving all the time. However, if you choose better foods, you could actually eat more while eating less calories and lose weight, right? So eat less calories would be better advice than just eat less in general, because you can maneuver your diet in a way that you physically eat more food. I can use myself for example. Right now I'm eating roughly 3,000 to 3,250 calories. I may be bumping calories soon because I'm starting to plateau on the weight gain side, but I'm bulking. And here's a meal, and it takes me 15 minutes to eat the whole meal, and I eat pretty fast. And it's legitimately filling. I'm good. I don't want to think or eat food for the next 3 to 4 hours after that. And it's just just 1 cup of rice and half a pound of 93.7 ground beef. And that fills up a bowl that's like that big and like that deep, and it fills it up pretty much almost full. And that is like almost, let's just say it's like 1,000 calories, right? So if your goal is to eat 2,000 calories, like you could split this up into 2 different meals and have 2 500-calorie meals. You could eat one of these as just like a big meal to get you through the day, and then you could have like a smaller sized breakfast or a small sized dinner. Or you could even, something I like to do is, typically most people get their worst cravings at night, is let's say here, well, excuse me, I'm at that 3,000 calories. So maybe I'll be a little bit more sparing in my breakfast and lunch. So maybe I'll just do like a 600 to 800 calorie breakfast. Then I'll do the same thing for lunch. And let's just say in this example, I did the 800 calories, so that would be 1,600. Now I have 1,400 calories left for dinner. And you can have a bigger dinner, which is going to make you more full, which is going to help prevent cravings because you're just not going to be thinking about food. Or since you have a bigger caloric allowance, another nice thing you could do is you can allocate some to junk food to manage that craving. So that could be a way you could maneuver it. Sorry if I'm a little bit all over the place. I'm just trying to give you different things you can use in different tools. But anyway, the better advice with the eat less is it's eat less calories, right? And then eat more whole foods. Eat less calories, eat more whole foods. Because chances are, a bag of chips, one small bag of chips is like 300 to 400 calories. That is half a cup of rice, which is infinitely more filling. That's half a pound of ground beef. Like, if you had the option between a bag of chips and half a pound of ground beef, what do you think is going to make you more full? Your half pound of ground beef. Or veggies are another great thing. Veggies are super low calorie. Try eating 1,000 calories of broccoli. You will not enjoy that because it's hard, because it is not calorically dense, right? So again, point is, eat less calories and eat more foods that are less calorically dense but more voluminous. You can eat a higher volume of that food for less calories. Okay, so that tackles the why eat less is probably not the best advice, and why we should switch it to something like eat less calories and eat more whole foods. Next part is, why is the move more part not the best advice? So if we're speaking generally, moving more is good. It's good. But there is this misconception that when we say move more, that means do hours of cardio. Like trying to do all of this running, jogging, all of that shit. Not really. When I would say the move more is just to be more active throughout the day. And all that means is just walking more, maybe setting aside like a 20 to 30 minute span to walk, trying to get like 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 steps in each day. That would be a great piece of advice to follow for move more. But when it comes to cardio, especially, all cardio does is it burns calories. Now, why does this matter? Because when we are trying to lose weight, you must be in a caloric deficit. A calorie deficit. Okay. So now that we got that. But if cardio burns calories, wouldn't that help? Yes, but cardio is very inefficient at burning calories. And the more cardio you do, the more efficient your body becomes and the less calories you burn from doing your cardio, which is true. So cardio it's almost like this, it has a point of diminishing returns, and you just don't have to do it. Like, you could just take the eat less part and you would still lose weight. However, you should be strength training because otherwise you're gonna look skinny fat. But the point is, like, legitimately, we could take your diet and we could keep you in bed all day. And if we just adjust your diet, you will lose weight, period. If you are eating less calories in your maintenance, it does not matter if you do not move a single muscle. It does not matter. If you are eating less calories, you will lose weight. So the reason I say 7 to 10K steps is that is just going to keep you active. You're going to be more physically active. Your cardiovascular health is going to improve from that. And it is just a good measure to make sure you are staying healthy and you are moving around enough to combat any health issues that could come from being sedentary. And that means you can just walk around while you're on a call. You can walk while you're watching TV. You can walk while you read. Stuff like that. Maybe taking a 30-minute walk with your dogs. Maybe you just let them outside in the backyard. Take them on a walk. Spend some time with them. You know, maybe go to the park, you know, and walk to some nice spot, or, you know, whatever. There's a whole bunch of different ways you can do it. I'm pretty sure I've made videos on it. I'll probably end up making another one on it. If you have any questions about what kind of activities you could do, just leave a comment below and I'm more than happy to help you with that. But the thing is, cardio is burning calories, right? So if our maintenance is 2,000 calories, right, we could do cardio to burn an extra 500 calories and just eat our maintenance, right? So we're still eating the same amount of food, but we're just doing cardio to make the deficit, right? So that is a tool cardio could be used for. However, to burn 500 calories with cardio, that's like roughly 50 minutes of near maximal intensity, like 90 to 100% of your maximum heart rate for 50 minutes sustained to burn 500 calories. Like, that's not the amount of effort and fatigue you're going to generate. Not to mention that when you do high effort cardio, it significantly spikes your cravings, it significantly spikes your hunger, and because it's trying to get that energy back. And so you end up putting yourself in a position where you have more cravings, you have more hunger, but you can't eat, right? So doing high intensity cardio is not going to be your best friend on a weight loss phase for sustained durations. You could do high intensity cardio for very short durations, you know, as in like maybe your total time spent at the high intensity is something like 5 or 10 minutes. But doing sustained high intensity cardio is not going to help you. That circles back to why the 7 to 10K steps is good, because that is low intensity cardio. And it does not spike your cravings, and it does not increase hunger, and it just burns calories. It's at a very slow rate. It takes a lot of it to add up to anything meaningful. Like if I get 10,000 steps in a day, at most that's added 100, 200 calories to what I could eat, maybe 300. But yeah, so it's going to play its role and it's going to allow you to eat a little bit more food, but cardio should not be what you're creating the deficit with. The deficit should come from your nutrition, which just means if you have a maintenance calories of 2,500, rather than just trying to burn an extra 500 calories, you should just automatically in your diet plan out 2,000 calories worth of food. 2K calories of food. And that's what you eat for the day, right? So it's not like you're in this guessing game. You've already chosen the foods that you're going to eat. You've planned it out to add up to 2,000 calories. And once you eat all that food, you're done. Boom. And guess what? Since you are in a 500 calorie deficit, I'm just going to use D for deficit, you get to lose 1 pound a week. Ain't that awesome? So, circling back, move more is typically good, but there is a kind of moving that we would like to do, and that would be something in the low intensity realm, because it is not going to spike cravings, it is not going to spike hunger, and it's just going to give us a nice little bit of extra calories to eat in the day. It's going to give us the cardiovascular benefits and help combat being sedentary if you do take part in that, or it's a part of your job or just a part of your life. So we're going to get some good health benefits there, and you don't have to deal with the cravings or the spikes, and you just go ahead and plan your food to be in a deficit. You switch from you eat less junk food, you eat less calories, but you switch out your junk food or anything that's super calorically dense for things that are more voluminous. You can eat more volume for a similar amount of calories. And that is going to be the thing that makes dieting easy. Not easy, but better. And it's going to be a lot simpler and easier to hit your goals. Because coming from a place of knowing, like I've had this happen before, I've struggled to lose weight because, I was eating just junk, like Cheez-Its, chips, whatever. And those things are super easy to eat, and they're super easy to overeat. And then, I'm not tracking my calories. I'm trying to do like 30 minutes of cardio to combat or to increase the caloric deficit. And then it's not working, right? It's like I'm hungry all the time, but I'm eating junk. But rather, like when I've switched to eating more whole foods, so, I eat the same thing every day right now, except I have like ways of spicing it up and making it different. So it's not technically the same, but it's for the most part whole foods. Breakfast is cereal with milk. Milk is great nutrition-wise, and it's great for protein, especially if you use the Fairlife brand. Cereal is good for fiber, a good source of carbs, but that's something that's decently filling, especially because of the milk. And then for, lunches and dinner, just using like a whole source of carbs, rice, potatoes, and those are pretty voluminous foods, as well as meats. Those are pretty voluminous as well. The thing is, you're going to be eating so much food that you would find it hard to overeat. And the thing is, like, advice is really good for losing weight. But conversely, if you're gaining weight, it is okay to add some more junk in to your diet and eat a little bit less whole foods to be able to hit that calorie goal. Again, as long as you are mindful and you are not gorging yourself and being extremely gluttonous, trying to eat everything in sight and then magically putting on 4 pounds in one night. So as long as you're not doing that, and you're sticking towards your calorie goals, you'll be fine. But that is the thing. If you right now are struggling and you're saying, I barely eat any food and I still gain weight, you should look at the caloric densities and you should switch to more whole foods. And I'll give a sneaky example of things that most people don't notice are calorically dense that are. Your salad dressings. Salad dressings are fucked. Excuse my language. They are fucked. They have a horrible amount of calories. Like, salad dressings, they give you so much, so to the point where, honestly, having the cheeseburger would have been a better option. At some places, this is not a blanket statement, but salad dressings have such high calories that you should have just had the thing that you were craving in the first place for the most part. Again, it depends on the place and how much dressings they give you and the specifics. But like, this is something where people are like, I had a salad, and then it turns out they had 800 calories of Caesar dressing. And then, no wonder, sure, you ate the lettuce, which only had like maybe 30 or 40 calories or 60, and then you had the 800 calories of Caesar dressing, and then you ask, why can't I lose weight? Another is oils, like cooking with oils. You got to count that. You got to track that. When you throw, a small tablespoon of olive oil, even though it's that small, there's still like 90 calories in it, and you've got to count that. So if you're using, let's just say, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, you're throwing in, what would that be? 360 calories extra? And you're like, well, I'm eating just a chicken breast, and the chicken breast is only 400 calories. And then you've got another 400 calories of olive oil. And you're like, how come I'm not losing weight, right? So these are a few sneaky examples, but just because something is considered good or healthy does not mean it is not calorically dense. Take avocados, for example. One avocado is like 400 calories. That's crazy, right? And people eat a bunch of avocados and they say Nutella and toast is bad for you and it's unhealthy. It's like, if you had the Nutella and toast, that maybe would have been 200 calories, but having avocado and toast, congratulations, you've had a 500 calorie breakfast. So like, it's not a matter of what's healthy or unhealthy. It is a matter of calories, right? And also macronutrient profiles. I've made a video going over that. I'll probably make another one since my new program is going to have 3 rest days a week. You're going to get a lot more videos like this where I go over it. But again, get rid of the concept of good or bad. Like, this is a useless, absolutely useless component of nutrition that you do not need. You do not need to hold the belief that any foods are good or bad. There are just foods that are more aligned or less aligned with your goals. Or you could say more nutritious or less nutritious. Or less aligned, right? So if, like, your goal is to get your protein in because you're trying to build muscle or preserve muscle mass, then yes, your lean meats are going to be much, much more aligned with your goals and you eating, just explicitly carbs. Like, if you don't choose anything that's high in protein, that is going to be less aligned with your goal, right? So it's just a matter of picking out foods that are in more alignment. And something you consider as being more aligned is managing cravings, because that is a part of dieting. Managing Cravings is a part of dieting. Right? So, yes, if eating those 2 Oreos keeps you more consistent, that is aligned with your goal. Right? Because you are doing the actions every day, and it is the act of being consistent that gets you the goals. Like, it's not the one day of eating the food that's in alignment with your goals. It's not the one day of working out. It is the hundreds of days of dieting. It is the hundreds of workouts that get you to your goal, right? So rather than trying to be perfect, your focus should be on consistency, right? And whatever keeps you the most consistent is going to get you much further than perfect could ever do. So, yes, we want to pick out foods that are in alignment with our goals. So we're keeping in mind calories, we're keeping in mind macronutrients. Ideally, we should have a plan of what we're going to eat in the day. Just like when you're working out, you shouldn't go into the gym and have no idea what you're going to do. You should go into the gym with a plan. You should also go into each day with a plan of what you're going to eat. That way you don't overeat because it's dinner and you have 1,000 or 600 calories left and you have no idea what you're going to eat. And then you pull out a chicken breast, you get some rice, and you're like, this is 600 calories. And then you throw half 1,000 calories of olive oil between your rice and your chicken, and then you're like, holy shit, I'm not losing weight, right? So plan out what you're going to eat and just switch from calorically dense foods to voluminous foods, foods that are low calorie and high volume, that you can eat a ton of and that are more filling. Doing that, so that's gonna help you with eating less calories, but at the same time, you will be eating more food, which is good and what we would want and much more beneficial for our diet. Then, when it comes to the moving more part, we are not going to do a bunch of sustained high-intensity cardio. That is going to be counterproductive to our goal of losing weight. If we are going to do cardio, like designated cardio, it is going to be low intensity, walking on the treadmill, the elliptical, biking at a moderate pace or a low intensity. And if you're not going to do any designated cardio, just get your steps in. And it can be more than what you want, that you already do. You don't have to do 10K, right? Like if you're currently doing 1,000 steps a day, just going to 2,000 steps is going to make a difference. And once you can consistently do 2,000 steps, bump it up to 3. And then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then 8, then 9, then 10, right? You can slowly increase your health habits, but simply the thing is doing more is going to be better in terms of your steps. So if you're doing 1,000, go to 2,000, that's going to do something, and it is going to help. But if you go from 1,000 to 10,000, a 10x increase, it's going to be very unsustainable and hard to implement in your life. But if you just had to find a way to do a little bit more than you're doing now, I'm sure you could find that. And honestly, I know you could find that and that you can do it. But anyway, that covers it. Again, just last tally. Eat less calories, eat more voluminous foods, and just move more at a low intensity pace. And create your caloric deficit through your diet and not through cardio. Anyway, that covers this video. I know I ranted quite a bit, but I think it's important to know this because when it could feel very, very demotivating to hear the advice, eat less, move more, especially when you're eating calorically dense foods. And you're like, I barely eat already. And you're telling me I've just got to starve myself. No, you do not have to starve yourself. You can eat more. It's just a matter of being smarter and making better decisions. And if you already move a lot and you're struggling to lose weight, right? Like moving more can help, but creating the deficit through your diet is going to be the best lever you could pull. Because to burn 300 calories, that's like 30 minutes of sustained near maximal intensity exercise. Or you just don't eat that donut, right? Like, maybe let's not eat the donut. And then if we do that, congratulations, you've just cut out 300 calories of your diet. Now you're in a deficit. Now you don't have to do 30 minutes of near maximal intensity cardio. Yeah, anyway, if y'all enjoyed this video and you learned something new, then leave a like and subscribe. Going to be making a lot more of these. As I said, I have much more rest days in my program, so we're going to get to do a lot more of these iPad drawing, horrible handwriting videos. I don't know if I already said this. Leave a like and subscribe if you did. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the first day of my new program. And I am going to talk about that in that video. I'll see you guys then.